and I really don't believe in method acting. I think it's bullshit. But
Method acting being, that's the thing where you sort
really
of...
live it. I am this person. You're clearly not the person.
Yeah,
like,
right,
you know,
yeah.
you're picking and choosing times to inhabit that area, but no one does that.
You think that's made up? That's
absolutely indulgent wankery.
Okay, good.
It is.
How are you?
Hey, happy to be here.
Thanks for
Pretty
being
good.
here. How are you holding up?
Pleasure. Oh, you know, a little laggy.
Jeez, coming over from Australia, I say you are?
Yeah, it's a long flight.
Do you have any tricks to getting over the jet lag or anything? Or
There's no way out of it. You
No?
just have to go through it.
you can't? Nothing you can do.
Well, I don't usually partake in a sleeping pill or two, but I thought if I have to get up and do press every day, perhaps I should, so that I actually get some sleep. And I just don't like the feeling.
No, it's not worth it.
No.
It's not worth it.
Maybe
Yeah.
worth it just so I can make sense for a minute and not embarrass myself.
We're about to find out.
Yes,
You did.
we are! Please be kind.
You did. You were terrifying in this role. You described this character Evelyn as wearing a mask. She's very shifty. She charms all the adults in town. She does horrible things to her students.
My name is Evelyn Wade. I'm an author, a life coach, and the lead youth counselor here at Tall Pines Academy. We use groundbreaking therapeutic techniques, rigorous academics, and a transcendent connection with nature to solve the problem of adolescence.
Where do you start with a character that's hiding something?
Oh, that's all she is. Like, there is a presentational version of her, but the subterranean world is much bigger and much more interesting. She's a very complex human being.
Yeah.
And her whole world is structured out of a necessity to avoid feeling, which is basically the entire ethos of the town. No attachment to anything. So she's got a lot of deep stuff going on. And at first, you know, she seems approachable. She wants to be trusted. She is somewhat altruistic in that she's helping people heal and grow and overcome wounds and trauma. But she doesn't want them to be who they want to be. She wants them to be who she wants them to be.
But what about you as an actor? Like, to me, I'm not an actor, so you'll have to explain this to me a little bit. But like when you're playing someone who's hiding something, someone who's deceptive, what do you draw on to play that role? Do you know what I mean?
Really freaking great scripts.
I know, but you know what I mean.
But
like,
I think you do it with, I do with every character, and maybe Evelyn more so because she is so, you know, overt in her masks. But I think as an actor, I kind of go through and figure out variations of where you do want to reveal certain information. So it's like you just pick the curtain up and put it down, you know, for people to be able to kind of, if they pick up on it themselves or not, that's another thing. But you kind of open the door a little bit and then close it, and can drip feed information about any character, really.
Oh, that's interesting. Like you choose when to give a little bit of an idea of who she really is.
Yeah.
How do you handle the scenes where you're sort of saying all these terrible things to these students, these sort of young actors? Is there a preparation moment before the scene where you're sort of talking about it together, what's about to happen? Is there a moment of decompression afterwards where you all sort of talk about what just happened?
It was a really easygoing set. There were, you know, the show is intense and a little confronting. There are light moments. It is, I think, pretty funny actually.
Yeah,
at times.
definitely.
So I love that tone and balance. But so we were all really familiar. It was a very easygoing, kind of buoyant atmosphere. So it didn't feel like we were all like, oh, we're going in and we're going to do this. It was more flexible and casual and alive, actually. And all of those younger actors were so incredible and so dedicated to what they were doing and so prepared. And we just did it.
I know. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but there's no cost. What is that line about Dustin Hoffman and Laurence Olivier, where Dustin Hoffman
try acting, my boy.
But I would imagine there's a cost. I would imagine when you're like screaming at these people and you're screaming at these children, being so terrible to them, when they say cut, there must be some sort of like, oh.
It's a hard thing to describe, but if you think about having a big cry or something emotional happen in your life, it is deeply exhausting. So when you are having to sustain that kind of energy throughout a day or a scene, no matter how long it is, it's a little tiring, and there can be that moment of like, oh, glad that one's out of the way.
You can be sort of exhausted by the end of it.
Yeah, you definitely can. I mean, haven't they done studies about brain activity is actually more demanding of your being than physical activity? I mean, depending on how fit you are, I guess.
Yeah, for me anyway. And then, but yeah, okay. So you can be legitimately. So what do you do?
What do you mean?
Afterwards, when you're
I don't
when you're
know.
finished?
Go have a cup of tea, go out, hug a tree, whatever it takes.
All right. I mean, this is interesting to me. I'm interested in sort of the cost of being an actor.
Do you know, actually, I was just talking about, we drove past the theatre up there. I remember coming here in, I don't know which year it was. It was the premiere of a film I did called Miss You Already, where I played a woman who experienced cancer and ultimately dies. And I cared about the film so much. I was saying I was so nervous about coming to the premiere. But it was that film. I mean, I'd already been acting for so long, decades, but I found myself thinking about her, Millie, 2 years after we wrapped, and I was like, ooh, this ain't right. And then everyone used to say, oh, are you a, and I really don't believe in method acting. I think it's bullshit. But
Method acting being, that's the thing where you sort
really
of
live it. I am this person. You're clearly not the person.
Yeah,
like,
right,
you're picking and choosing times to inhabit that area, but no one does that.
You think that's made up? That's
absolutely indulgent wankery.
Okay, good.
It is. But I found myself feeling things that I realized I wasn't shaking off, despite the fact that for years I've been saying, no, don't do anything like that. Not intentionally, but what I discovered was the mind doesn't know what's real and what's not.
Yeah.
That's why I believe thoughts are important. If you're saying, if you have negative self-talk, I mean, fake it till you make it. Say good things because your body hears it and creates that truth,
I read this story and I did love it, though I think you've told it before, that you did sort of fake it till you make it to an extreme when you were a kid.
Yeah.
Would you mind?
It is true.
Can you tell the story?
I can tell the story. I was 11.
Yeah.
Previous to this day, when I was age 11, my mother had told me a story about having her appendix out when she was 11. And she had explained to me that she said it was so strange because the doctor pressed in and it really didn't hurt. It was only when they let go that it hurt.
Okay.
So I took that information and really ran with it. I think I had a little stomach ache, but I just exaggerated the whole thing and ended up having surgery, and my appendix was removed.
You actually did get it out?
I actually did. And then I met Graham Norton and he did the same thing. I'd never met anybody else who'd done it.
You faked your way into an appendicotomy?
Yes.
Appendectomy?
Yeah, I think it's appendectomy.
They'll edit that. I'll sound like I know what I'm talking about.
I feel like you do know what you're talking about.
Oh no! Don't let the sweater fool you. You must. At some point, someone must have said, "Well, even though there was an unnecessary surgery, she must have a gift for acting."
No, the doctor came in kind of sheepishly saying it was slightly infected, but then we had a newly purchased beta. Not a VHS, but the beta machine.
Yeah,
for
Betamax.
watch,
Yeah.
What are they called?
Betamax.
Betamax.
Yeah.
Okay. And I watched The Sound of Music for 2 weeks straight. It was awesome.
That's not too bad.
That was the upshot.
And when I'm thinking more about what you were saying about for a long time I was like, that was the line, self-indulgent wankery, we're just acting here, for God's sake, we're acting, don't take it so seriously. But then I do find your choice is very, very interesting. So for people who don't know, you were in this movie called Muriel's Wedding, which was this, sort of a breakout role, and you get a lot of attention. And I think a lot of people would have gone, did you ever hear that Neil Young quote? He said, I sensed myself going too much into the middle of the road, so I threw myself in the ditch.
No, but I love it.
And I had heard this story that you had been offered sort of, bigger.
Similar roles.
Yeah, or Romeo and Michelle's High School Reunion and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And don't let
You've done your research, baby.
No, it's that I'm an AI.
Oh, no.
And then you chose to do smaller films like Clockwatchers. Can you talk me through decisions like that? Like, that feels like an intentional decision, and where that came from.
I have never had any kind of game plan or engineered thinking about career or how I could, build anything. In all aspects of my life, I literally just listen to my heart and go with my gut. That's it.
But you must know what you didn't want to be.
Well, that's also listening. So I knew I didn't want to do certain things,
What were those things?
I can't remember. But for instance, with Hereditary, I had already said I don't want to do this kind of film. I think I'd recently done Miss You Already, and I was like feeling a little, tired, and I just wanted to do some films that were a little more buoyant and fun. And then it came along, and I was like, I knew I had to do it. So there was just no no choice, no decision to be made. Sometimes the decision is made for you. It's like tuning into something bigger that already has the knowledge.
You're tuning into something you sort of like have to, I don't like this expression because I don't believe in this stuff, but like ask the universe. And
You don't believe in that?
I don't believe in asking the universe, no.
Why not?
Because I think that when I'm asking the universe, I'm actually sort of just checking in with my own intuition.
Well, they're the same thing.
I sometimes find when people talk about asking the universe, it seems a little bit more out
It's
there.
the language that
something
feels like
that.
crap.
I
Yeah.
feel like there's something, I'm just kind of tuning into my true self maybe when I'm doing that.
Which is the universe. We're all the universe. We're all one.
Hey, listen, we're both meditators, buddy. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
What kind do you do?
Vipassana.
I tried that when I was 18 and I was the person who left.
But mainly I do just mindfulness meditation and then metta, like loving kindness.
Yeah,
You do what do you do?
I kind of do a little mix of things. I've been doing it for so long now that I don't even, like I can sit down and just go into like oneness. It is so blissful.
Yeah, it's lovely, hey?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I remember for a long time trying for that and then I kind of let go of trying and then it happened and I wasn't ready for it and it intimidated me and I stopped altogether.
Does it help with the acting?
I think it helps with everything.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah.
You were talking about how we were talking earlier about how films can hang on to you afterwards, right?
Yeah.
And in surprising ways that can happen. You brought up Hereditary.
Just fucking say it! Don't you swear at me, you little shit! Don't you ever raise your voice at me! I am your mother! Do you understand? All I do is worry and slave and defend you, and all I get back is that fucking face on your face!
I loved Hereditary reluctantly. I went to see it without knowing it was a horror movie.
Oops.
And I was absolutely, and I don't like horror movies.
Neither do I.
You've been in like all of them.
I haven't done that many. It's only a handful, and I don't like to watch them, but being in them is very different.
I heard a story about The Sixth Sense that you didn't know it was a horror movie.
I just thought it was a beautiful spiritual story.
What do you mean?
I remember walking past, they had like a makeshift edit suite on set, I guess.
You were already cast. You were doing it. You were
I was
in
making the movie.
You were acting and making the Sixth Sense movie.
Yes.
Okay.
And they were cutting the scene together where Haley is at that girl's house, played by Misha Barton.
Haley Joel Osment plays the young kid in the. I'm just trying to catch people up.
Yes.
And you played his mom and
Yes.
Misha Barton. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he walks past the bed, I think, and she reaches out and grabs him. And the way it was shot, I was like, oh, holy shit, I think this is a horror movie.
She died.
Oh my God, but you can see her?
Yes.
Where is she?
Standing next to my window.
Cole, you're scaring me.
They scare me too sometimes.
The horror films that I've done are actually just like beautiful dramas that have an element that pushes people just a little bit further. Like Hereditary is just a heartbreaking story about family grief and disconnection. I mean, but there's something on top of them which sensationalizes them just slightly.
When you're telling me about like holding on to being surprised that you were holding on to some characters afterwards, in Hereditary, there are these moments where you let out this unbelievable scream, this like blood-curdling scream. Does it go the other way? Is that cathartic to do? Like, are you helped? Like, because you hear about people, letting it all out and screaming, and it really does help them with something that's going on in their life. Well, first off, how do you prepare for a big scream like that? And then does it help you, Toni, the person, as well, to do that? Do you know what I mean?
It depends where you are in life and what you're working on and whatever correlation or mirror there may be. I know that everything I play, I really learn something about myself. It's cathartic in that way. Sometimes if it's like big emotion, it can certainly be very cathartic, but it can also be if you're not... I'm kind of never in that position because I choose to somehow make it personal so that I can give truth to whatever the character's going through.
Okay.
With that particular moment that you're talking about, they were shooting Alex, who played my son, hearing me scream. And so they were inside the set, and it wasn't done on a stage afterwards, or in an ADR session,
like a vocal
nothing
booth
like that. I was
afterwards,
just outside the set, which was built on the stage, and given a cue when to do it. And so I had nothing. It was like this room; there was nothing there, and just finding what I find.
Yeah.
And That film was interesting because it was post Miss You Already, and I thought, okay, this is heavy. I'm going to have to take care of myself as I go, and it was the first time I did that. So I didn't carry things. I I did a lot of physical movement to get it out of my body.
I heard that you said it was healthy for you, though, that film.
In that, I was able to very much be in the moment, which I think meditation helps with, and then not carry it with me.
Oh, so how was that healthy for you? Like the film made you a healthier person?
It made me a healthier actor, I think. In terms of this notion of carrying around shit that doesn't belong to you.
Oh yeah, you couldn't possibly do it in that film, or it'd torture you.
Each day, it was almost like sweeping out my system because I would get on the elliptical cross trainer. We were at a very high height, altitude-wise, because we shot it in Utah. And I would just kind of run for a really long time, and it helped.
Yeah, to get through it, you had to just be healthy.
Yeah.
Okay. I have this is a funny question, but I want to ask it. So our producer out there, Vanessa,
Can't wait.
I've been working with Vanessa for 12 years now, and
Happy anniversary, guys!
You're her favorite actor.
Oh, Vanessa, you didn't say that when we said hi.
And I asked her why, and she said, as a young girl, she felt a lot of pressure to be perfect. Your body of work is full of women who are messy. They can be petty, in her shoes, strange, Knives Out, and their stories are not defined by men, and she has found that empowering for her.
Me too. So thank you for even recognizing that, and that is the best compliment ever.
Tell me what you think when you hear that.
I think I'm not very good at at recognizing or understanding how other people perceive me. That's maybe everyone's experience of life, right? But recently, for instance, I was shooting a movie in Sydney. There was like a 4-day big wedding scene with about 100 background artists. And I finished a couple of setups before everybody else. And the first day was like, okay, that's Toni wrapped for the day, which meant the end of me being in the scene. And all the background artists kind of clapped me. And I was so moved. I was like, guys, okay, thank you, bye. It really made me. And at that point, I've got my kids at home at the moment. This was such a quick trip and such a long journey. Like, there's more time in the air than I actually am in Toronto doing press. And I was like, oh, maybe I can do some stuff via Zoom. I don't know if I could be there. And the experience of their reaction to me in that moment made me realize that it probably was important for me to be here for Wayward, for our show to premiere, because people do have responses to me like that, which I find very moving.
Was there an actor who did that for you?
I have been asked this before. There are loads of people I admire, but there's not one person who I'm like, oh, I really want to, I think actually the best thing you can do in life is be you.
Yeah, have non-attachment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah, I know. No North Star for you when you were starting out. I want to have a career like.
Nope.
God love you.
There really wasn't. I started in musical theatre. I loved Barbara Streisand, but there's never been like anyone I wanted to, or anyone's career that I wanted to emulate. I think the best thing anyone can do in life is like somehow find who they are and bring that to the table.
How do you do that?
I meditate. I get quiet. I listen to me and not all the noise.
You've been a big influence on a lot of younger actors as well. Caitlin Dever from Booksmart said your performance in The Sixth Sense made her want to be an actor.
Wow.
What do you still get excited about when you show up on set every day?
I still am in love with the whole experience. It's the most collaborative of art forms, and I just love that feeling of knowing what you may bring but not being too attached to it, and then being absolutely blown away and surprised by the energy that's created by everybody's input. I love it.
The hang, like the collaboration.
Yes.
What is it that you love about the acting itself? What is it you love about the job, man?
I think because it is like meditation, it brings me into the moment, and I can't work on things I don't believe in. I can't work on things that don't feel grounded in some kind of truth. And if you feel like you're connecting with some kind of truth serum, that's a high in itself.
As an actor, you're known for taking on a lot of different roles, the ability to transform. Mm-hmm. Like in the United States of Tara, which you won an Emmy for, you often played multiple characters in one scene. What's the trick to that? Like, how do you bounce between all these different roles? How do you bounce between all these different people?
Well, it's kind of a two-prong answer. So weirdly, everyone said the same thing. Even the crew, oh, we don't know how you're doing this, you know?
Yeah.
It felt so easy and normal to me.
Yeah.
So I just think when people find their groove and they're in it, it just feels like you're meant to do it, and it somehow comes naturally. It didn't feel like a struggle. It didn't feel like I was grasping for answers. It just felt completely understood on every level and therefore somehow meant to be.
Okay. Prong one.
Yeah. So prong two, later in life, I've now learned that we all work that way. We all have different parts that exist within us. So having the overall understanding of Tara herself, you could really kind of carve out, slightly heighten, slightly exaggerate these specific parts which were born to protect her and therefore had very, very particular qualities. So once they were established, it was just easy to kind of call on any of them.
I appreciate your time, and I started this conversation by, I think I do have a better understanding of you and a better understanding of the craft here.
Yeah.
Like I started by going like, what did this do to you? How do you do this? How do you do that? Who are you channeling? And you were kind of like, I'm not channeling anybody. And I was like, well, what the hell are you doing? And now, and it sounded like you were saying, I'm just acting, for God's sake. I'm just acting. Don't think about it so much. But I now understand that acting can be a way to tune into yourself and to be completely present. And maybe that's the key to all the great roles that you've played and all the impact that you've had, is that it can actually be a way to channel what's deep inside you if you can cut all the noise out.
Yeah.
Ironically, by being someone else.
Yeah.
It's powerful stuff, Toni. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me. You're lovely. I loved this conversation.
Come on, get out of here. You're lovely
I will
too.
get out of here.